Welcome to the King's Court. My name is King Roberto. I'm your host on this new podcast titled The King's Court, recorded here in the King's Lair. A lot of king going on here. I'll give you the history of that, a little background about me, the basis of the show, and where it started, where it came from. But for now, I just want to say welcome. You finally found a podcast that you didn't know you needed, but you might immediately regret subscribing to. By pressing play, you're officially part of the court. Don't you worry, though. Dues are low. In fact, there are none. Just laugh at my bad jokes and pretend you agree with my hot takes. So we're coming to you straight from the King's Lair. So you might be wondering, what makes a lair a king's lair? Well, let's just talk about it for a minute. If you're listening, you're going to have to close your eyes and imagine. If you're watching on video, you can see it. It's the trailer. Not just any trailer, it's our fifth wheel camp trailer that I have converted and made into a podcast studio to record from. Now, some people, they might do their podcast from glass towers high up in the sky, have amazing views of the cityscape. But no, not me. I'm coming to you from a trailer. A little less royal palace and a little more portable kingdom. Of course, I guess I could be sitting in a closet with blankets all around me trying to muffle the sounds, but the sounds are part of what makes it unique. If you hear the dog barking outside or the geese flying overhead, you know that you're getting the real deal. It's not soundproof at all in here. But hey, the royal dog, the amazing geese, part of why I love living where I live and doing what I do. The throne here, well, it's a dining room table chair. Not impressive, I know. But hey, sometimes unimpressive is exactly what the king needs. The chair probably should have been replaced with a throne. A throne that is deserving of a king. Maybe someday we'll get there. You'll notice there's no crown here yet. But do not despair. It's been ordered. We're hoping to have it here before the second podcast episode records. Although with shipping and tariffs and everything going on in the world today, who knows if it'll actually show up at all. But here's the beauty of everything. The court's base isn't about a fancy backdrop or high ceilings or glass windows all around it. It's about stories. It's about laughs. It's about people who make it the amazing court that it is. And honestly, there's just something fitting about a king's court starting humble, you know? So yeah, the Lair's a trailer. If you think it disqualifies me as a king, remember, Elvis had Graceland. I've got gravel land. Speaking of a king, a little bit about how I got here, how this podcast came to exist. Might be interesting to you, might not be, but I'm going to tell you anyways. Who is King Roberto? Who am I? Well, there's a few aspects of me that make me the well-rounded king that I am. I'm a family guy, which means most of my free time is actually my family's time. My kids are all grown and moved out now. We still have two at home that came over with my wife when we blended families. So they take some of my time. My wife takes a lot of my time, and the little bit that I have left over, I spend in the trailer doing podcasts. So there you go. I'm an outdoors guy. I like to hunt deer, elk, ducks. It's a lot of fun sitting out there in the woods, in the forest, or in the duck blind and trying to kill things, but most of the time it doesn't work. But it makes for great stories and great life lessons. And I have to say, I'm really good at shooting a shotgun at nothing. I am a camp director. What is a camp director? Well, a decade or so ago, I got a great idea to start a youth camp for our local 4-H program in the county that we're based in, because my kids at the time were having to go to all ends of Northern California to go to a camp. We live an hour from Tahoe, and it was just too good of an opportunity to pass up. And so I took that on, and since then, been doing it. Made some great friends doing it, and seen some really awesome kids grow up to be amazing leaders and parents out in the world today. And I'm a business guy, which is to say I'm part of a family company, a family business, construction business to be exact. Some people like me there. Some people don't like me there. I'd love to tell you that I can make everybody happy, as the power of a king might have, but when I raise the royal scepter and I command the subjects to listen, half the time they don't. It just comes with the territory, but I'm good with that. At the end of the day, we all get along. We put a good product out there, and we have fun doing it, and we learn every day. But none of that explains why I'm sitting here wearing my crown, which, if you're looking on the video, you just got to imagine that the hat is a crown. And if you're listening on the podcast, just close your eyes and imagine a striking, handsome gentleman sitting in front of you with all of his hair, which I don't really have anymore, but a crown on his head, a crown that is befitting a king. Just use your imagination, and there it will be. But let me get back to how I rose to the throne. Now, you could take this a number of ways, and it's meant to be tongue-in-cheek. The fact that I have to say that means that it might come off as not a tongue-in-cheek. But if it doesn't, sorry. Hopefully it does. Now, this is my story of how I became a king. I have the qualities of king. The first one being leadership. As I said, I took on a camp director position, an adult advisor, so to speak. All of the kids that we have at camp are made up of high school age kids who are the junior camp staff, and they are the ones that make camp go on. And then we have age 9 to 16 generally are the camper ages. They are the campers. But I am able to help lead those kids in meeting their deadlines for having camp planned and ready to go. Now, if you've ever tried to lead a group of 20 teenage kids in a mission to put on a camp that is truly as incredible as ours, you know that that is no small feat to get them all to get their work done on time. But they managed to do it. It is very painful sometimes. They are really, really, really good at procrastinating. The teenagers today are some of the best procrastinators that I have ever seen out there. But come time at camp, they truly shine. And I can only attribute that to the leadership and inspiration that I and the fellow adult counselors and directors at the camp give to them. I have followers. At camp, I call them minions. At home, I call them my dog. They follow me everywhere, especially my dog. Anywhere I go, he's there. He'll lick my fingers. He'll lick my toes. But he loves to have his belly rubbed. And who wouldn't want to have their belly rubbed by the king? It's one of the greatest things that he has in his everyday life, is the belly rubs. And he's a great follower. He's a great companion. At camp, my camp name is Gru. And as you know, if you've watched the Minions, you know that Gru is the leader of the Minions. So it's fitting. At work, my desk is considered the throne of productivity. I've even got a plaque on it that was given to me. I did not buy this myself. It was given to me. that says, if at first you don't succeed, try doing what Bob told you to do the first time. Now that is the mark of a king, when your loyal subjects can give you something like that. I rule my calendar, my inbox, and even my lawn. All the time, my calendar is very, very well organized. It's an amazing calendar, to be honest with you. The way that I organize it into different dates and activities to be done, when I remember to put them on. When I don't remember to put them on, thankfully I have people in my life that I delegate that to, as a king, should rightfully do, to keep my calendar in order. And I am tasked with supervising my calendar at that point, which works for me. My family says I'm the best dad. My wife calls me the best ever. My friends, they've crowned me with a championship ring and belts. Of course, the ring and the belt came after they were defeated in battle that consisted of a season of fantasy football 6 years ago or so. Never mind that I have not won since then. But I've never come in last. And that is a mark of a king. Never coming in last is something to be proud of in fantasy football in our league. It's fairly competitive, and I'm good with that. So all of this led to one morning sitting in the back porch and a proclamation that I made out loud to nobody who was listening. I said, why wait for a ceremony to be proclaimed the king when I can just do it myself? And I can proclaim the greatness. That is me. So I'm a king by leadership, king by skill, king by sheer determination, and a hint of self-bestowed glory. And so I say to you now, long live me. Why does this podcast exist, you're wondering? I mean, with a guy like me, who is as kingly as I am? Well, funny you should ask that. A few years ago, we were hosting a little get-together called a chili cook-off in our backyard with some of our friends. And a surprise guest and visitor showed up, who was a young man who was one of our youth directors at the camp that I help run. And he came up from where he was. He's actually in the Marines and is a officer in the Marines. He came to join us for the afternoon, which was a lot of fun. We were sitting around the fire pit, a few of us and the young fellow who came to join us, just talking and having a good time, cracking jokes, this, that, and the other thing. And he looks at me and says, you know what? You guys should start a podcast. You're hilarious. People would definitely tune in to listen to you. So that planted the seed. Maybe this is something that would be fun to do. Those friends that were with me then will more than likely be guests if I can somehow talk them into sitting down in this trailer in the middle of summer when it's 100 degrees outside and 105 inside, to share some stories with me and you, the listeners. I've collected enough stories, screw-ups, questionable life lessons that it feels selfish to not share them. And if I can have other people join me in that productivity like that, that'd be great. What you should expect: ridiculous stories, sports, outdoors, family life, business, faith, all of it. Our guests are going to range from family, friends, just interesting characters throughout the world that is my life. And I promise that sometimes you'll laugh. A lot of times you'll question my sanity. And hopefully once in a while you'll nod along in agreement. It's all just part of the court. In the King's Court, though, we have royal decrees and rules of the court. If you listened to the preview episode, you got one of the royal decrees already. Here's another one for you. In the King's Court, there's always room for one more chair. If you bring good company, we celebrate wins, roast the losses, and refill the glass either way. Bring snacks too. Nobody ever gets knighted for showing up empty-handed. And it's been known to happen before. We meet people in the day-to-day activities of our life and we invite them over for a dinner, a drink, hang out by the campfire in the backyard, start talking, and we become fast friends. And that's just the way that we roll. We're very welcoming to all who want to be a member of the King's Court. All you got to do is show up. So that's the court. It's a little ridiculous, a little serious. There will be a lot of stories. Next week, we're going to be talking about sports. The NFL season kicks off soon. I've had a few fantasy drafts this year that might regale you with. Baseball's coming into playoffs. Basketball's getting ready to start up along with hockey again. Should be a good time. And sports is something that I enjoy. So I'm going to talk sports with you. So trash talk is really the only stat that matters. My teams are the Indianapolis Colts, New York Mets, Sacramento Kings. I won't really have a hockey team or a WNBA team for that matter. But that's all right. I can still talk sports with you. So with that, I'm going to end the first episode here. By all means, I encourage you to follow, subscribe, or write my name on the bathroom wall somewhere. Help King out. Help grow this thing. Hope you've enjoyed it. Feedback is definitely appreciated. If there's a way to send me a message from your particular platform, I encourage it. As I said, this is my first podcast, so if I've screwed it up, let me know. If you like it and want it to keep going the way it is, let me know. Hope to hear from you and talk to you soon.